Hey, happy Friday, everybody. How we doing? I just love Fridays. In fact, I often can't wait for Fridays. So first off, because it's actually my day off, which is pretty stinking awesome. So I look forward to that. Maybe you kind of feel like all these days are days off, but they're not. You're supposed to be doing schoolwork, so hopefully you are. Anyway, I digress. But I just, sometimes I hardly can wait for that. And you know what? I actually, to be honest, don't like waiting a whole lot, period. Right? I like things like quick and fast. That's why I'm a massive, and I have been for years, I'm an Amazon Prime fan. Right? I love being able to buy things. And, it's super exciting when you get something and you order it and the next day, ding dong, it's at your doorstep, right? Which is just super awesome. Now, unfortunately right now, if you were to buy a lot of things on Amazon, not only is it not 2 day, it's definitely not 1 day. And sometimes it can be actually a lot longer because we just live in a kind of a crazy time right now, and sometimes it's hard waiting. We see it and you're oh, I don't have to wait that long, so maybe I won't do it. But you know what? There's also other people who didn't like waiting, and kind of in my time in the Lord, I've been going through Exodus. In fact, I just finished it, but just the other day I read something out of Exodus chapter 32, and let me kind of share with you a little bit about what was going on in this passage, okay? So it says this: when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mountain, the people gathered themselves together to Aaron and said to him, "Up, make us gods who shall go before us. As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." So Aaron said to them, "Take off the rings of gold that are in the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me." So all the people took off the rings of gold that were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. And he received the gold. Sorry, my pages are blowing. Received the gold that were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. And he received the gold from their hand and fashioned it with a graving tool and made a golden calf. And they said, "These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up from the land of Egypt." When Aaron saw this, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, "Tomorrow shall be a feast to the Lord," right? And they rose up early the next day and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. And so here's what's going on. Basically, here God has just done all these amazing things in the lives of the Israelites. He's brought them out of Egypt. He through the Red Sea. He's done all these miracle after miracle after miracles. And basically what happened is Moses went up to the top of Mount Sinai to meet with God, receiving the law from the Lord. And as he was up there not a little bit of time, he was up there for 40 days and 40 nights. It'd been a long time, right? And so as a result, they're like, "Hey, is this guy ever going to come back? I'm kind of tired of waiting. I think we need to kind of take matters into our own hands and kind of go a different direction." And that's what they did. And they turned away from the very God who had brought them up out of Egypt, the very God who had done all those miracles. And what's crazy, we read this, we're like, wow, how quickly they just kind of turned away. But I think sometimes that can happen to us too. We can be super excited. We see the way God's moving. Maybe, especially for us, we just, beginning of March, we came off of this amazing retreat, right? Where maybe for some of you guys, you saw God move in your life. You saw God move in other people's lives. You're like, wow, God's awesome. This is so great, right? And then COVID-19 happens. And you're like, wait, this is not what I thought life was going to be like. And I know, God, you're going to bring an end to this, or I know, God, you're going to see me through this, but when? This seems to be going on for a long time. Maybe you're not really there. Maybe, and all of a sudden, perhaps we find ourselves kind of pulling away from what we knew wants to be true, because in our waiting, we just have a hard time waiting. But guys, let me just encourage you in this time that you're in right now, that you know what? God is with you. He has not forsaken you. He has not disappeared. You don't know where he is. He is still as much God today as he was in the midst of all this COVID as he was before. Maybe in those great times you had with the Lord. And so guys, don't lose heart. Keep focusing in on him. Keep trusting him. Wait upon the Lord and he will show up. And you know what? It may not be your timing, but don't turn away or don't lose heart simply because the fact it hasn't happened when you hoped it would. So guys, thank you. Love you guys so much. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great one.